How terrifying was the strength of the ferocious beast Wangyue. With a single move, it heavily injured the 7 Nirvana Scryer Kuei experts of the Luo Tian star domain. Even more shocking, an 8-star ancient god was hidden within its body. When Wang Lin was searching on Xianxia planet for the golden flame ore vein to complete the heaven-defying bead, he discovered that the entire planet was actually the slumbering beast Wangyue. The so-called golden flame ore vein was in truth Wangyue's spine. Wang Lin did not dare to remain. He decided to return in the future after obtaining the ascension fruit. When he came back the second time, he nearly died just to excavate half of Wangyue's bone, finally completing the heaven-defying bead. Only then did he truly understand the terror of Wangyue's power. Years later, when Wang Lin encountered Wangyue once more, he was being hunted by the Yao clan of the Luo Tian star domain. To escape, he decisively charged into Wangyue's body, rampaging forward without fear of awakening the beast. At the same time, he intended to retrieve the remaining half of the bone, and even attempt to seize the ancient god cauldron left behind by Tan Lang. Outside, the planet had already been surrounded by cultivators pursuing Wang Lin. Yao Yunhai dismissed the threat, believing that since the beast was not recorded in the Yao clan's ancestral texts, it must be insignificant. He assumed that together they could slay it. Yao Bingyun was the first to charge into the black mist, followed by a large number of cultivators. Wangyue was already showing signs of awakening. Meanwhile, Wang Lin deliberately stirred things further. During his movement, he was intercepted by both Yao Yunhai and Yao Bingyun. Yao Bingyun unleashed powerful techniques such as ice sealing and soul-damaging seals. Wang Lin was injured and forced to retreat. Knowing Wangyue disliked noise, Wang Lin intentionally used the Zhan Luo technique, creating a massive disturbance. This summoned 100 Zhang Wangyue. Unexpectedly, Wangyue rushed toward Wang Lin, but instead regarded Yao Bingyun as a rival trying to steal its prey. Soon after, 4 smaller Wangyue creatures emerged and besieged her. Yao Bingyun was forced to shatter her core, escaping with severe injuries. Wang Lin pressed forward, reaching the top of the half-broken spine. He entered the gap where bone and nerves intertwined, seeing countless red threads like a spiderweb. As he tore each thread apart, Wangyue trembled violently. When a thread thicker than a human body was ripped apart, Wangyue fully awakened. The cultivation planet collapsed instantly. A roar that shook the primordial spirit erupted as countless massive tentacles extended outward. Its giant mouth opened wide. All cultivators inside suffered catastrophic destruction. Their divine abilities failed, their bodies crushed, and their primordial spirits devoured. Although Yao Bingyun barely escaped, she was gravely wounded. Finally realizing the truth of the planet and falling into deep fear, Wangyue, enraged, charged into the starry sky. Under the shockwaves and roars, countless cultivators perished. The smaller Wangyue creatures surged out, devouring everything. Aside from a few who escaped at the Kuei early Nirvana stage, nearly all members of the Yao clan were annihilated. The starry sky was filled with the stench of blood. At that moment, far away, 3 figures stood in the void. Among them was Yan Lazy, a peak Nirvana Scryer great completion expert. He revealed Wangyue's power to the other 2 and explained his long-planned scheme to use this beast's power to increase the odds in the war between the Luo Tian star domain and the Alliance star domain. The red-robed elder surnamed Xiang struck first, forming a blood-colored octagonal seal that trapped Wangyue. Yan Lazy waved his sleeve, rescuing surviving cultivators into the starry sky. Wangyue's fury reached its peak. Then a black-robed man appeared and created a massive vortex. Any cultivator touched by it was instantly erased into the void. The 3 worked together, evacuating all cultivators. When encountering Yao clan members, Yan Lazy deliberately struck harder, severely injuring them before allowing the vortex to carry them away. Wangyue was completely enraged. It had not been sealed like this for countless years. Even the smaller Wangyue creatures were blocked by the same seals. It slammed wildly against the void, but each time the octagonal seal rebounded it with immense force. Its rage grew uncontrollably. 2 cracks opened above its mouth, its eyes. Though murky, they were filled with madness. Low murmurs echoed from its mouth. Then, countless crystalline points gathered in the void, forming an enormous rough finger. This was Wangyue's ultimate killing move. The red-robed elder's expression turned grave. He pushed his power to the limit, pressing both hands against the formation. But the attack far exceeded expectations. The massive finger descended and shattered the seal completely. Fragments scattered across space. The elder was thrown back pale-faced. By then, all cultivators had been evacuated. Yan Lazy looked at the finger with excitement instead of fear. He suggested they experience its power directly. Transforming his body and primordial spirit into a blazing fire dragon, he charged forward. The red-robed elder became a crimson sword. The black-robed man transformed into a black eagle. All three attacks collided with the finger. A massive explosion echoed across the Luotian northern region. But the fire dragon collapsed. The red sword shattered. The black eagle dissipated. The finger merely dimmed slightly. Wangyue let out a victorious growl and withdrew, disappearing into the starry sky. Inside a secret chamber of the Thunder Immortal Temple, the three opened their eyes. They had only used avatars. After discussing Wangyue's strength, they decided to gather more experts to capture it alive. Meanwhile, in the Yao clan ancestral hall, Blood Ancestor Huyet looked at shattered command tokens. He ordered the second-generation member, Yao Yun, to go to the Luotian northern region and kill Wang Lin. After this battle, the name Shumu Wang Lin's alias spread throughout the Luotian star domain. Everyone believed him to be a bloodthirsty madman, someone who had triggered Wangyue and caused a catastrophe. No other cultivation clans dared interfere in his conflict with the Yao clan. Yet Wang Lin himself knew nothing of these rumors. He was cautiously moving inside Wangyue's body, followed by a group of excited smaller Wangyue creatures. Just as Wang Lin continued forward, a sudden call echoed from the depths of his soul. The voice was extremely faint, yet it carried a force that could pierce through everything, directly drilling into his soul. At the same moment, far away in the Alliance star domain, his ancient god true body suddenly opened its eyes, a dazzling light bursting forth from within. The call grew clearer and clearer, reverberating endlessly in Wang Lin's mind, awakening an irresistible urge to follow it. Without hesitation, Wang Lin rushed toward its source at full speed. Half an incense stick, later he finally saw what was calling him. Hundreds of thick tentacles were intertwined together, and at their center lay an infant dozens of zhang in size. The infant's eyes were closed, its body curled. A dense life force was being continuously drained from it by the tentacles. At its forehead, 8 illusory star points slowly rotated and were likewise being devoured bit by bit. Wang Lin's body trembled violently. His pupils contracted sharply. He recognized it, an ancient god, and judging by the stars on its forehead, it was at least an 8-star ancient god. In fact, this was Luo Chen, an 8-star royal ancient god who had regressed from peak 8-star to an infant state. Two terrifying thoughts arose in Wang Lin's mind. Either this was the offspring of an 8-star ancient god, or it was an adult 8-star ancient god who had regressed due to severe injuries. If it was the latter, then all of its power had been devoured by Wangyue, which meant the reason Wangyue had undergone such a drastic transformation was because it had devoured an 8-star ancient god. A deep sorrow rose from Wang Lin's heart, an emotion originating from his ancient god true body. At that moment, an ancient voice echoed within Wang Lin's primordial spirit, spoken in the archaic language of the ancient gods. It said its time was running out. It had sensed the aura of an ancient god within Wang Lin, his true body. It asked Wang Lin to bring the real ancient god to inherit its final legacy. Wang Lin was about to speak, but suddenly the entire interior of Wangyue began to shake violently. All the tentacles went berserk, frantically absorbing life force from everything they bound. Countless dried corpses shattered with explosive sounds. Clearly something major had happened. Outside Wangyue required an immense amount of energy. The tentacles surrounding the ancient god entered a state of frenzied devouring. The ancient god's voice grew weaker. It stopped Wang Lin from intervening, saying it had already fused with Wangyue. If Wang Lin acted, he would immediately be discovered. Just as it finished speaking, the first star on its forehead shattered. The power released from a shattered ancient god star was unimaginable. A massive storm swept through the entire passage. At that exact moment, Blood Ancestor, Blood God, child of the Yao clan, a Nirvana scryer expert entered from outside. The instant he materialized, he was struck head-on by the ancient god storm. With a muffled groan, his body collapsed. Fortunately, his life-saving demonic artifact shielded him, barely preserving his life. Even so, his primordial spirit was heavily injured. He spat out multiple mouthfuls of blood. Upon recognizing the power of an ancient god, He was terrified out of his wits and fled immediately as a streak of bloodlight. Outside, a heaven-shaking battle erupted. Ayan Lazy, the black-robed Gong Sun Fu, the red-robed elder of the Shang clan, along with the 4 sons of Sealing God, Shengong Patriarch 5, Colored, Taoist, Lai Yunzi of the Zhan clan and Blood God Child. The 7 greatest experts of the Luo Tian Star domain had gathered. The Thunder Immortal Temple deployed in full force, setting up 3 layers of blockade 100,000 li away. They were determined to capture Wangyue. Each expert unleashed their divine abilities. The Xiang Elder controlled a massive octagonal formation, raining thunder and fire. The black-robed man transformed into a giant eagle, tearing Wangyue apart. Shengong Patriarch summoned 10,000 thunder dragons. Lai Yunzi's immortal technique pierced through everything. The 5-colored Taoist turned into a vortex, releasing massive evil spirits. Blood God Child became blood mist, invading Wangyue's body. Yan Lazy manipulated fragments of the immortal realm to form an enormous encirclement. Wangyue was completely enraged. It roared thunderously, opening its mouth and releasing countless smaller Wangyue. Before each one, a projection of the ancient god finger formed, filling the sky as they shot toward the 7 experts. Even more terrifying, Wangyue tore off all its own tentacles. Each one that fell transformed into a 10,000 zhang Wangyue. This scene caused all experts to gasp in shock. No ancient records had ever described such an ability. All the ancient god fingers merged together, forming an almost solid, colossal finger before Wangyue. It carried a world-destroying force as it slowly descended. 5 experts joined forces to resist. A deafening explosion echoed across the Luo Tian northern region. All 5 were severely injured and blasted backward, but they finally shattered the attack. At that moment, the 2nd star on the ancient god's forehead inside Wangyue shattered. Using a fragment of that power, it formed an ancient teleportation array before Wang Lin. It urged him to leave and return only after finding a true ancient god. Wang Lin disappeared into the array, and in the next instant, countless tentacles surged forward and devoured it completely. Outside, Yan Lazy seized the opportunity and launched the final seal. Fragments of the immortal realm compressed inward, attempting to completely imprison Wangyue. Wangyue struggled wildly. Just as it was about to break free, a vague figure stepped out from the collapsing starry sky. The moment this person appeared, all injured experts showed deep respect. Even Wangyue trembled in fear, stopping all movement and retreating. Millions of li away Wang Lin emerged from spatial ripples. He looked back toward Wangyue. His thoughts were turbulent. The temptation of the ancient god inheritance was immense, but so was the danger. He could not act recklessly. For now, the priority was to grow stronger and prepare for the Yao clan's pursuit. When Wang Lin became a 4-star ancient god, he returned to Wangyue in accordance with the ancient god coming-of-age ritual to challenge Luo Chen. Recognizing him as the inheritor of Tusi, Luo Chen trained him through real combat, tempering his will and strength. He imparted the royal ancient god core technique, the god extinguishing seal. Before his death, he bestowed his final 2 ancient god stars upon Wang Lin, allowing him to directly break through to a 5-star royal ancient god and complete the entire inheritance.